Imagine pouring your whole soul into a performance and then taking your final breath right there on stage. Sounds like something out of a movie, right? But it's happened more times than you'd believe. These aren't just tragic stories, they're shocking, eerie, and unforgettable. And number 6, that one left an entire stadium frozen in silence. It was December the 8th of 2004, just another night at the Alrosa Villa nightclub in Columbus, Ohio. The crowd was fired up. Metal legend Dimebag Darrell, the former guitarist of Pantera, was playing with his new band, Damage Plan. The energy was electric until it wasn't. Just a few minutes into their opening song, a man from the audience jumped on stage and opened fire. No one saw it coming. Dimebag was shot multiple times at point-blank range. The entire venue thrown into chaos. Fans screamed, bandmates scrambled, and a police officer eventually shot and killed the gunman. But by then, the damage was done. Dimebag was gone at just 38 years old. The motive? Still debated. Some believe the attacker blamed Dimebag for the breakup of Pantera. Others think it was just a tragic act of delusion. But what's certain is that the music world lost one of the most innovative guitarists of his generation, a man who helped to shape modern metal and whose final notes were played live on stage doing what he loved. Imagine the electrifying atmosphere of a sold-out concert at Paris's Accor Arena. The crowd is buzzing with anticipation as Haitian singer Mikaben, born Michael Benjamin, takes the stage. Known for his vibrant performance and heartfelt lyrics, Mikaben was a beloved figure in the Haitian music scene. On October the 15th of 2022, during a reunion concert with the Haitian band Karimi, Mikaben delivered a performance that had the audience dancing and singing along. As he exited the stage, the unthinkable happened. He collapsed. At first, some thought it might be part of the act, but the gravity of the situation quickly became apparent. Despite immediate medical attention, Mikaben was pronounced dead at the scene, having suffered a heart attack. The news sent shockwaves throughout the entire music community. Haitian Prime Minister Ariel Henry expressed his condolences, stating, "We have lost a major figure in Haitian music." Fellow artists and fans worldwide mourn the loss of a talent who had touched many with his music and spirit. Mikaben's sudden passing serves as a poignant reminder of life's fragility, even amidst moments of joy and celebration. It was May the 3rd of 1972, at the Top Rank Suite in Swansea, Wales. Scottish blues rock band Stone and the Crows was preparing for their performance. Guitarist Les Harvey, co-founder of the band and brother to Alex Harvey, stepped up to the microphone. Unbeknownst to him, the microphone was not properly grounded. As he touched it while holding his guitar, a surge of electricity coursed through his body, electrocuting him in front of a live audience. Despite immediate attempts to assist him, including efforts by bandmates who themselves suffered shocks, Harvey was pronounced dead upon arrival at the hospital. He was just 27 years old. Harvey's untimely death sent shockwaves throughout the music community, highlighting the critical importance of proper electrical safety measures in live performances. In the aftermath, venues and bands became more vigilant about equipment grounding and stage safety protocols. Stone the Crows, deeply affected by the loss, eventually disbanded the following year. Harvey's legacy endures as a reminder of the unforeseen dangers performers can face and the necessity of stringent safety standards in the music industry. Lucky day. On July the 3rd of 1999, the crowd at the Nel Nome del Rock Festival in Palestrina, Italy, had no idea they were about to witness the final performance of a legend. Mark Sandman, frontman of the gender-bending band Morphine, had always been known for doing things differently. Two-string bass, no guitarist, and dark jazzy lyrics, and a voice like molasses. The band was in the middle of their set when Sandman suddenly collapsed on stage. At first, it was hard to tell if it was real. His presence was so cool and low-key, it looked like he might be kneeling for dramatic effect. But when he didn't get back up, panic set in. EMTs rushed to help, but he had already suffered a massive heart attack. He was pronounced dead shortly after, at just 46 years old. Sandman's death stunned fans across the world. Morphine had built a cult following, and their live shows were known for their hypnotic, groove-heavy atmosphere. That night, the music stopped in the middle of a song, and it never resumed. What makes it more haunting is that the band's name, Morphine, was always associated with darkness and melancholy. Sandman once joked in interviews about living fast, but no one thought he'd exit in the middle of doing what he loved the most, playing to a crowd wrapped in sound.
And you should have seen me way back then.
January the 18th of 2020, the 30A Songwriters Festival in Florida. A quiet night, an intimate crowd, and David Olney, a beloved figure in the Americana scene, sitting center stage with his guitar. Known for his poetic lyrics and commanding calm, Olney was in his element. Mid-song, he paused, gently said sorry, and lowered his head. No stumble, no spectacle, just stillness. At first, it seemed like part of the performance, but then silence stretched. He'd suffered a fatal heart attack, passing away right there on stage, guitar in hand. What made it haunting wasn't just how sudden it was, but how peaceful. As fellow performer Amy Rigby later wrote, he was very still, with his guitar on, wearing the coolest hat. It felt less like a collapse and more like a curtain call. One final verse from a life of music and meaning. August the 30th of 2024 was supposed to be another high-energy night for fans in Hamden, Connecticut. The crowd was buzzing as Fatman Scoop, the Grammy-winning hype man known for his booming voice and infectious energy, took the stage. Known for hits like Be Faithful and collaborations with artists such as Missy Elliott and Mariah Carey, Scoop had a reputation for turning any venue into a party. Mid-performance, the unthinkable happened. Fatman Scoop collapsed on stage, leaving the audience in stunned silence. Emergency responders rushed him to the hospital, but he was pronounced dead shortly after. The cause was later confirmed to be hypertensive and atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease, a natural, yet devastating, end to a vibrant life. Tributes poured in from all around the music community. Missy Elliott, Sierra, and countless fans remembered him not just for his music, but for the joy and energy he brought to every performance. His voice had a unique power to unite people, to make them dance, to make them feel alive. Fatman Scoop's sudden passing was a stark reminder of life's fragility, even for those who seem larger than life. He left the world doing what he loved, his voice echoing in the hearts of fans who will never forget the energy he brought to the stage. March the 4th of 1960. The Metropolitan Opera House in New York City was filled to the rafters. Leonard Warren, one of the most powerful baritones of his generation, was performing in Verdi's La Forza del Destino. He was in peak form, his voice booming through the auditorium with a kind of command only a few ever achieve in a lifetime. Then, right in the middle of Act 3, during the line Morir, tremenda cosa, which translates to die, a momentous thing, Warren suddenly collapsed. He had suffered a massive cerebral hemorrhage and died almost instantly, on stage, in costume, in front of a live audience. He was only 48 years old. The irony of the lyric he had just sung sent chills through the opera world. This wasn't just a performer. It was a voice that carried decades of craft and discipline, silenced in an instant. Warren's death was a seismic event in classical music. He had performed at the Met more than 600 times and was known for both his vocal precision and emotional depth. The performance was halted immediately, and the news had spread quickly. One of opera's brightest stars had taken his final bow. What remains is that eerie moment, the stillness, the final note, the silence that followed. It wasn't part of the show, but it left a mark deeper than any area could. For fans of Latin jazz and mambo, Cachao wasn't just a musician, he was a living legend. The Cuban bassist and composer was one of the founding fathers of the mambo sound and a towering figure in Afro-Cuban music. His bass lines didn't just support the rhythm, they told stories, made people move, and lit up entire ballrooms. In March of 2008, Cachao was performing in Coral Gables, Florida, just outside Miami. He was 89 years old, well past the age most performers retire, but his presence on stage was still magnetic. That night, he played with the same passion and soul that had defined his entire career. The notes were clean, the crowd was alive, and it felt like time had stopped. Shortly after the show, however, he fell ill. What no one knew was that would be his final performance. He died just a few hours later from complications related to kidney failure. It wasn't an onstage collapse. There was no drama, no headline screaming tragedy. But for those who were there, the moment carries a quiet weight. Cachao left everything on the stage that night, his legacy, his sound, his final notes, and walked off into history. What made it even more poetic? The concert had been a tribute to him. If you know Slipknot, you know chaos, controlled chaos, masks, aggression, and the thunder of metal that hits you in the chest like a freight train. But behind all that noise was Paul Gray, the band's bassist and co-founder, a quiet force in a storm of energy. He wasn't just the guy in the jumpsuit and the pig mask. He was the heart of the band. In 2010, Slipknot was on a short break between touring and recording. Paul, like always, couldn't stay away from music. He was rehearsing with other musicians in preparation for upcoming sessions. On May the 23rd, just hours after what would become his final jam session in an Iowa hotel conference room, Gray was found dead from an accidental overdose. He was 38. Though it wasn't technically on stage, he had spent his final hours doing what he always did, playing, preparing, creating. The music never stopped for Paul Gray, and even after death, it didn't. Slipknot paid tribute to him not with silence, but with sound, holding a press conference where his bandmates sat beside his bass and his mask, visibly broken. The band later dedicated their next album, The Gray Chapter, entirely to him. You can hear the grief in every track, raw, angry, wounded, because Paul wasn't just part of Slipknot. In many ways, he was Slipknot, and his final moments were lived as he always had, inside the music. Lee Morgan was one of jazz's brightest stars, a prodigy trumpeter who played with Art Blakey and Dizzy Gillespie before he was 20. He helped to shape the sound of hard bop with fire, elegance, and soul. On February the 19th of 1972, during a performance at Slug Saloon in New York City, Morgan was doing what he did best, lighting up the stage. But in the middle of a set, tragedy came from the shadows. His common-law wife, Helen Moore, who had been with him through both addiction and recovery, entered the club and shot him. It was sudden, brutal, personal. He bled out on the floor while the crowd stood frozen. He was just 33 years old. Morgan's death stunned the jazz world, not just because of the violence, but because he was at the height of a comeback. The man who once nearly lost everything was playing better than ever, and then gone. His trumpet fell silent that night, but the echo of his sound still lingers in every jazz record that dares to speak with soul. And just like that, 10 final performances that became final moments. If that hits you even just a little, subscribe. We've got more stories like this that you won't believe.